Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. I'm coming to you live here. Well, I guess not live, pre-recorded, but I'm coming to you from Spain, from Alicante, so right on the Mediterranean. We flew up here just for the week. We're going to spend about a week, I guess more like 10 days up here. So the next videos will be coming from here. Now, sorry I didn't put out a video on Friday or on Saturday. It was my intention to, but with travel and everything, things just got out of hand, and we were just at that point just trying to make it here. So luckily we got here, we made it safe, we got some decent sleep, stayed up way too long talking with friends and family. So long and the short, we're here, we're safe, and we're hopefully back on track. Now, in today's episode, what I meant for Friday was really to talk about what this channel was about and when I first created it. Now, you guys have heard me a lot talk about how really I wanted to have something that would be good for my future kids, for them to see, you know, what were the mistakes or the good things that Dad did, what were the different things he was thinking about during different periods of time, especially as we go through different cycles, right? Right now, we might be in a recession, still we may not be in a recession, but we're in this weird tumultuous time period, and then we'll have good times. And I want them to be able to see like what I did and what decisions I made over time. So that was part of the reason why I want to do this. Now, the real reason I want to do this also, well, I guess another part of why I want to do this was to talk about my philosophy. So let's start off with the name of the channel. The name of the channel is Investing Against the Grain. What does that mean? Well, to me, what it means is I push back against this ideology of diversification. Now, let me explain myself. I do believe that if you don't want to do any homework, if you just want to set your money, forget about it, never think about it again, okay, in that case, just go find a low-cost S&P 500 index or a NASDAQ index, whatever makes you happy. But I think a lot of the people, especially if you're tuning into this channel, that's not your approach. And as you all know, I'm all in on Tesla. The only other investments I have are real estate. And so really, everything's in Tesla. So why is that different, and why is that my approach? Well, first, it comes down to the fundamental truths, right? I mean, Elon talks a lot about physics, and really it's about first principles. And the truth is, you can only do so much research at such an in-depth level on so many companies. Now, in general, especially as an engineer, I believe in being able to understand and talk about many different topics, whether it's in the engineering realm, whether it's talking about religious things, whether it's talking about politics, whether it's talking about construction, design, whether it's just anything, right? Talking about surfing, talking about rock climbing, sports, right? Just music. I believe that as an individual, as a person, it's best to know something about a lot of things and get very holistic on it. But when it comes to investing, I think in order to make the smartest decisions with your money and to really get outside returns, you really need to focus on and narrow in on a very few amount of companies that you can really do due diligence and really understand the business, right? This is a lot harder than people think it is. And so getting to a certain depth of level with a certain company, I think is what allows a lot of people to reach financial independence so much earlier, right? I mean, I take it back to at the investor meeting, Rob and I sat next to each other during the meeting, and you know, we were talking about what my channel is and all that, and he agreed about what I was saying as far as he's all in on Tesla. You know, he's always invested all in individual companies. And so I wanted to make this channel, partly the kids part is one aspect of it, but also to really get the message out there that it's okay to not approach things with this diversification mindset, right? And I wasn't always like this. I mean, I was, but I wasn't. Let me give you an example. My first investment, my first like real all-in investment was Apple. And this was right before the iPhone came out. And I was able to ride that for a while. But then from there, instead of me doubling down, tripling down on Apple, I was thinking, okay, well, what's the next best thing? What's the next stock I'm going to buy? What's the next company? And my research and my in-depth of knowledge became more shallow. And it just became less about, are they innovating? What are they doing? How are they generating their revenue? Are they cash flow positive, right? It became less of that, and it became more just about, I want to invest in another company. When it wasn't about what is the best company to invest in. Now, eventually, I rolled everything over into Amazon, where I went all in again. And after I went all in on Amazon and that was doing so well for me, again, I got this idea that I'm this amazing investor and I can go into any other company and I can do this and not do the homework and just be shallow about it and it would work out for me. And that didn't pan out. And so this time, when I went all in on Tesla, that wasn't the case. I finally learned from my mistakes, humbled myself. I found a company that I really knew, I really understood, and went very in depth on it, and I went all in. And this time, I'm not getting out unless there's a very obvious next Tesla, if you will. But like I've said before, Tesla is the next Tesla. So this to me is investing against the grain, right? The traditional way of investing is to be diversified, right? And I was just listening to the All In podcast, and I think it was Chamath who was talking about SoftBank and just talking about the outsized returns that we've seen, these different individuals in general make. And on the one hand, people chastise them when they lose billions and billions of dollars, but on the other hand, they celebrate them when they do so amazing. Or another way to think about it, it's, do you want to be that person who takes the last shot at the end of the game for the win, right? That person that you trust and rely on is the same person that might miss it. I guess what I'm saying is that not everybody's always going to hit everything perfectly, right? You're not always going to be perfect, but you have to have the ability to take those type of risks, if you will. And it is a risk, but it's a mitigated risk. And the reason it's a mitigated risk is because you're doing your due diligence, you're doing your homework, you're understanding the business. So with Tesla, for example, I feel like I understand the business so well. There's a lot of investors out there that do, right? You look at people like Farzad, Warren Redlich, Gary Black, obviously, Rob Maurer, Dave Lee. You look at all these individuals, and you look how in depth they are. They have their own models, their bear case, their bull case. Farzad right now is building out a bear case for the bears, right? And even that is still a positive situation. But the point is, you don't see a lot of investors. I guarantee it. Go to a lot of your friends, and if they think, oh, let's go with NVIDIA, or oh, let's go into Apple, or oh, let's go into the next thing that I think will be big, a Rivian, a Ford, whatever. You tell me, do they have models built out? Do they really understand the business? Do they understand how those companies actually generate revenue? What business are they really in? For example, Ford, GM, they're not actually in the car selling business. They're actually in the finance business and the service business, right? Or at least the dealerships are. Oh, I got some dogs barking here. Sorry about that. But yeah, so the point is, in my philosophy with investing, it's really about making sure you truly understand the company. And if you truly understand a company at a proper depth of knowledge, then you're not going to be able to really go that wide of net with many companies and stay on top of that individual company. And that is why I'm all in on Tesla. That's why I went all in on Apple and Amazon. Now, like I said, I have invested in other companies that were stupid moves, right, over time, but that's how you learn, you iterate. Now, the reason I'm also so passionate about this approach is because this is the approach that's allowed me to gain financial independence. This is why I'm able to come and spend, 10 days in Spain out of nowhere. After a few months ago, we were in Mexico, and then we were in Costa Rica, in that same month just before that. Is because of investing, right? It's life-changing, right? I truly believe that more people need to understand and change the way they think, change their paradigm, right? And what's the paradigm that I think they need to change? The paradigm is that too many people look at retirement as an age. And to me, this is more so just social, conditioning that we've been, indoctrinated into. I know I sound like conspiracy theorists here, but it is. It's social indoctrination of, hey, this is how your life should be. You go to school, you come out, you find a job, you stay at that job, maybe you find another until you're in your late 60s or early 70s, and then you retire. And those are your golden years, right? Yeah, disagree. Retirement or financial independence, retire early, if you will, that is a certain amount of net worth that you can live off of. And the reason it's so important to change this mindset is because, especially with me when I was, younger, I'm only 31, but when I was even younger, thinking in this terms of not an age, but a certain, net worth allowed me to really scrutinize everywhere I spent money. Because I knew that I needed to create this pool of money, this pot of money, this bucket is what I needed. And every dollar I spent on some other stupid thing, if I bought a new car to look cool, whatever, it would be delaying me putting money into that bucket for that net worth that I needed. And so I think once you, whether it's your kids or your family members, your friends, whoever, once you get them thinking this way, they start thinking about every dollar they spend a lot differently. because every dollar they spend today on anything that's vanity or superficial or just not a necessity, that delays them getting to that number for financial independence. And so the more people realize this, I think the greater good this does for the world. Just think about it. Imagine more people not having to go to a 9 to 5 job, but doing more things that they're interested in, creative arts and stuff. I met several people at the investor meeting where they were saying, they are financially independent, right? They've made millions and millions and millions off of Tesla, and all they want to do is go work for Tesla, right? They just want to be there. They want to continue being part of the thing that's done so much for them. And I celebrate that, right? That's beautiful. So there are many different things. I don't believe in this idea of retirement, not working. I think once you get to financial independence, even the whole FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, it's really about transitioning from I have to go do XYZ to pay and sustain my life to, okay, I don't need to worry about money. What am I interested in? How can I provide value back to the world, right? Is it through the arts? Is it through music? Is it through working for companies that I just think are so interesting, like these individuals who want to work for Tesla? Is it, hey, I just want to stay at home and be the best father, best mother I possibly can and raise my kids up right? And then I can figure something else out. For us, I would love to get into a business of, building houses to our aesthetic, our design. As you all know, my wife, she designs hotels and museums. It just has a beautiful eye. Just, I'm biased, obviously, but, if I can't talk about it, but if I talked about some of her work, you would understand. But I want to just bring more beautiful environments to the world. Like, I think there's something about when you walk into a space, it makes you feel a certain way. And I think that's very impactful. And that's something I think would be awesome to share. But these are the things that people can do whatever they want when they have that freedom to open their minds and let it explore. There's only so much you can have fun with, just drinking on the beach every day. Like that's not something that's going to sustain or fulfill you as a human. And so I think the more people approach financial independence faster, I think we could have a better world. Now, I still think we need people to do productive work and all that. And Elon talks about this a lot, where a lot of these people who become, crazy wealthy, they just end up quitting and not working. Some of them are amazing, brilliant engineers. And Elon says, I don't know what they're doing. I kind of agree with him, especially if it's something you love to do or you're passionate about. I get if you're burnt out on something, hey, go do something else. But the idea of just not working just seems kind of crazy to me. Like, I want to do something with my life, there's no end goal to it, right? It's our lives. We're humans. We want to create, we want to build. Anyways, so again, just to recap, especially for a lot of you who might be new to this channel, the goal for this channel is to, one, create kind of a documentary highlights what did I do for my kids, but it's also to let more people know it's okay to go all in on one company. Now, I'm not saying none of this financial advice. You don't have to go into Tesla. Me personally, based on my research, what I've done, there is no better company than Tesla for the future. There's no better company that is in its place with its market share as the leader with as much of a total addressable market, and that keeps innovating, getting into new segments where they just by de facto become the leaders in that. It's a company that grows very organically. And then you look at the numbers, and the numbers are just nutty. Not even talking about the future potential. The current numbers are nutty, right? So it's just very obvious to me. But I couldn't have gotten to this point had I not done all my research and all my time, my studying, and my models, right? It really opens your eyes, because at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie, the products don't lie, and it's just very, I don't know, it becomes obvious when you do the proper research, the proper homework. Now, like I said, that was the whole point of this channel. It's why I created it. Hopefully some of this you agree with. If you don't agree with it, it's fine too. But just either way, let me know down below in the comments. Like I said, I'm in Spain for next week, 10 days. So I plan on making more videos. Let me know how the audio is. Let me know how the background is. It might be a little blown out. I can't really tell because I'm recording here. And yeah, so we'll see. We'll iterate as we go. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I appreciate everybody be patient with us as we were traveling. It's nothing went the way I thought it was going to go, but that's life. We pivot, we iterate, and we keep moving forward, and that's what we're going to do here. So again, I appreciate everybody, especially if you tuned in. Hopefully some of this message resonated with you. And yeah, I'd love to hear your take on it, right? And where you guys are. Are you pursuing financial independence? Are you thinking about it in this mindset of not an age, but a net worth of money that you live off of 5% or 4%, right? And you know, how do you plan on doing it? How do you calculate that? How do you get to that point? How do you determine that number? Have you accounted for life creep or anything of that nature? How do you keep from keeping up with the Joneses to affect you? Right? Let me know about it. I'm very curious. And let me know if you would like to see more videos like this. You know, I talk about this a lot. I mean, YouTube, I talk a lot about Tesla, but as far as financial independence and investing and, you know, how you spend your money, I think that's arguably the most important way that you can invest is figuring out where you're currently spending your money. And, you know, really going through that with a fine-tooth comb. I track every penny I spend. But if you want me to go into more of things of that nature, let me know, because I love talking about it. It's a huge passion of mine. All right, we're going to leave it there. We're cooking a paella right now. I'll post some pictures about it so you guys can see it. But yeah, I'm going to go over there, help out. I'm going to grab a glass of cider. I'm going to watch them cook the paella. Got my family over here cooking it right now on the Weber. So again, appreciate everybody. If you stuck to the end, do me a favor, you know, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. It helps the channel grow. Appreciate all of you. I love you. Peace.